Welcome to the Triple P Show. Welcome to the first episode ever of the Triple P Show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Pat's Path Predictor, and after months of planning and after months of getting everything together, we finally did it. I'm actually a little bit in disbelief that we're actually doing this. Yeah, welcome to the Triple P Show. Before I continue, I have to introduce my wonderful co-host, who this would not be done without him, Ethan WX. Ethan, say hello to the audience. Ethan? Okay, let's go. Are you there? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. We'll wait for him to come back in just a second. But, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. Here's what we got going on for right here. Welcome to a new show. Yeah, hopefully Ethan will get back on soon. Hold on, let me type real quickly. Okay. First episode. That typically things can happen from that, but okay. But anyway, yeah. So okay, Ethan's having some problems with his Discord. Okay, cool. Great start. So the Triple P Show. What we got going on tonight... there he is. All right, we're waiting for him to come back. All right, Ethan, you there?
There we go.
There we go. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, I'm Ethan WX, one of the founders of Storms United, and we're going to have a pretty good episode here tonight.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So... before we get started, because here's the thing, before we get started, we talked to Naz. He hopefully will be on in just a few minutes. I know he just got done streaming, so he's probably taking care of a couple of things before that. I did send him the invite. We're all good to go on our ends when I've been reaching out to him privately. So while we're waiting on him, let's talk a little bit about the Triple P Show and what we aim to do here with this. So here's what we're essentially aiming to do here. The Triple P Show is basically a show for the community, for the weather community across YouTube. And what I want to do with this is I want to make this a platform for whether you're a weather YouTuber, big or small, or just a regular weather enthusiast, someone who is interested in the weather, to come on the show, just kind of to give back to the community and to give a fresh perspective of what is going on with the weather. Just add some more people on the show, bring some people on, make it a little entertaining as well, and the main theme for tonight, at least, is tracking the tropics, because we got some stuff. We had some interesting stuff happen over the last 36 hours in terms of some of the modeling. And Ethan, if you want to add on to more of what I just said, go for it.
I mean, right now the Atlantic, isn't super active at the moment, but we have had a tropical storm Arthur this year, which already had some pretty significant impacts in Louisiana. We had a large area that saw 24 to 30 inches of rain. Obviously, that was a pretty low population area, so I don't expect that storm to be, retired or anything, but very significant rainfall totals. So even in an El Nino year where things are maybe going to be a little below average, we're off to a pretty interesting start.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is definitely for sure. All right. So that's the situation that we got going on right here. Yeah. Yeah, we do have a couple of other people in the call right now. Earth Central and Logan Rounds are in. How are you guys doing?
Doing good so far.
Great. I'm excited to see the show tonight.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Big part of it we're still waiting. We're still waiting for.
Yeah, this will be nice considering a lot of us weather nerds have a background of like how we got here and all.
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure.
I'm sure a lot of us would love to talk about that, myself included.
Oh, 100%. 100%, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. All right. So, basically, let's just. So here's what we'll. Here's what we'll do. What we'll do. Okay. What? All right. Weather Kingdom wants to come on. I'll bring him on real quickly, and then we'll get into into some of the weather. Yeah. Yeah. We'll go ahead and bring him on. But yeah, off to a decent start. Hey, Weather Kingdom, you're on the air.
Hey, how is everyone doing?
Hello. Welcome to the first episode of the Triple P Show. We just got started. We're expecting Naz does weather on at any time. Reached out to him privately. He's agreed to come on the show. So we're just here to we're just here, and we're just gonna yeah. Basically, it's pretty much a show for the community, and you're a part of it. I'm a little
Yeah.
I'm just.
Sounds like fun. I've been wanting to. When you first brought the idea and I heard about it, I was like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And now here we are doing it, and I'm very happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy to be on your channel. And honestly, Pat, you have done a wonderful job, and you're doing a very good job, and keep it up.
I thank you very much. I do appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it then, because there are some things that we want to talk about. Hopefully Naz joins us in just a couple of minutes. I've let him know that we're on the air. So here we go. So here's the situation that we got for you guys right here. Currently an El Nino situation. Currently, the Atlantic's been relatively quiet with the exception of Arthur, and that's in my opinion, has been a relatively big exception given how close to proximity it was to the coast and how much damage it has done across much of the Deep South. So that's what we're dealing with. What we have going on is, at least over the last, I'd say, 36 hours, some of the models, especially the Google DeepMind, has definitely been kind of excited about an area of tropical development that may be going on off the southeastern coast of the United States. And I wanted to bring on Naz to kind of get his input on it, as well as just to kind of kind of bring him on the show, because Naz and I go way back. So I figured he'd be the first good guest to come on the show, but anyway, that's besides the point for right now. So that's kind of our situation that we got. We have some potential area of tropical development. We have a area of interest in the Eastern Pacific as well that I've been keeping an eye on, although those chances have been decreasing pretty considerably. It was 0.80, now it's 0.50 over in that part of the tropical basin. So with that being said, guys, this is the community. This is the community show. What do you guys want to talk about first?
I do have one good point that I've been looking at with the season on the Atlantic. I don't know if you have noticed, but I've talked about it in some of my live streams leading up to this week. Is about not a busy Atlantic hurricane season. I think we will be about average to slightly below average. I did actually, in one of my live streams, did kind of give an estimate of my numbers. I was going to do a video, but once again, a lot of personal stuff. So that's been kind of keeping some of my thoughts back. And I was going to kind of explain that on my channel, but what I'm more worried about this season is we're going to have less activity. That's always a good thing. But I think we're going to have more of a homegrown season where, for an example, in my opinion, Arthur, I guess, became a tropical storm. If anything, in my opinion, I think a tropical depression.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for tropical storm status, I mean, like you said, it did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But that was, that was big on the flooding part of it. And, that's a prime example. What we tell every year is even the smallest systems can bring actually more fatalities and more devastation than bigger systems when it comes to the flooding. For sure, Arthur had a big problem with the flooding part of it, the winds, you
Yeah.
got gusty winds there and there, but that's like a normal thunderstorm. The big problem with Arthur was once again with the flooding rains, and it's a very big example that we tell you guys every year is it doesn't matter how strong the system is, it's more about the impacts and the flooding. And once again, we talk about the cone of uncertainty. And Pat, as you remember with a few storms in the previous years,
Yeah.
that it showed for that we had storms that didn't even make a landfall in the eastern United States, and it caused big swells out in the Carolinas,
Oh yeah.
caused property damage, big flooding issues. And that's something that I've been really trying to hammer point on my neck of the woods and my point of view is the impact. It's more about the impacts than direct landfall. It doesn't matter how strong a storm is, it matters about the impact. So that's just something I really just wanted to say.
All right. Trevor, you're on the air.
Okay, I'm gonna refer to what WeatherCam said. It only affects one storm.
Okay.
You also need to go towards the sea surface analysis as well. And what else am I forgetting? And if a storm goes out in the Gulf, all hell breaks loose. I'll say that.
Okay. Are you referring what are you referring to exactly, Trevor?
Later in the season.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So I'm going to all right, so Earth Central, Logan, Ethan, what any thoughts on what Weather Kingdom was saying?
Yeah, that's
Oh, go ahead, Earth.
yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. Also, in case we have a potential for another Dora type situation with Hawaii, it could bring about strong winds that may fuel any existing wildfires that are nearby. But also, side note, I've been keeping an eye out. Apparently, Krakatoa is acting up, and if
Uh-oh.
that erupts, it has a history of climate changing eruptions, and if it does go off, I don't think it will see much impacts this hurricane season, depending on when it does go, assuming it does. But if it's say were to go off early season, we may see impacts in late season, but more so next year's season.
All right.
But we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
All right, cool.
Actually, I do have something
ahead,
I've
Logan.
been contemplating.
Go ahead.
This is actually something that you've been bringing up a few times.
All right.
The oceanic isotherms of the sea surface temperature. That is something I have actually never considered before.
All right.
Because, to be honest with you, I've been trying to determine a way to better forecast hurricanes, as you guys up here with me may know. And for the audience now knows that I have been doing hurricane research for the past year.
Yeah.
That is something intriguing because I don't think I've ever seen such a sharp gradient like that before. That's usually a sign which screams to me lots of subtropical storms. Not to mention lots of changes in pressure and stuff, because that gives me the impression that the pressure will be lower in the Atlantic as opposed to higher, which might actually counteract the El Nino a little bit, because when you got the shear and you got your drier air, that's typically from a sinking motion or higher pressure. So if the pressure becomes lower because of a gradient and instability, then this season has a chance to do something unexpected.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it does.
And my forecast is increased to about 9 to 14 storms again.
Okay.
Just given that there was improvement in factors, and the biggest thing being that gradient I never saw before, which can easily contribute to many storms, despite the overall not impressive look for what you want to see overall in an Atlantic season.
100%. Yeah. LTW, you're on the air.
Hello. I just kind of want to add on to Logan's comment about like the amount of storms that we could have.
Yeah.
I'm still projecting 11 storms, at least like around 11, due to like the uncertainty of what like the subtropics or like what could happen in the MDR or the Caribbean or even the Gulf. Anything could happen.
All right.
I just want to add on that, I don't think the Atlantic is really going to be the main show this year. It's going to be the East Pacific because this is a historically strong El Nino. Honestly, on the level of 2015, which obviously we know that was a hyperactive year in the East Pacific with Hurricane Patricia. I believe that was the most active year on record, although it may have since been broken. I haven't actually looked at that in a long time, but
that is not the most active year. That came before. That was about 1992. That went through every single name.
Yeah, either way, I think we should expect that 2026 will be a hyperactive East Pacific year, and also, especially for places like Hawaii, which don't normally see many tropical cyclones. This is a year where the threat to those areas is more significant than it usually would be. And I was actually recently in Hawaii, and they've experienced quite a lot of flooding back in March from the Kona low systems. So I think winter storms are also another big thing that we're going to have to cover, as we head into the later months of the year, because normally we don't talk about those things, on Pat's Path Predictor. We tend to focus more on just tropical cyclones. We tend to be a little too kind of Atlantic centric at times. I do think if we expand, we got to look at the things like the Kona low, the atmospheric rivers in California, because those events are going to be much more significant this year than, in other years, because this is a historically strong El Nino.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's one area where we could expand our horizons, because those events will obviously impact millions of people.
Absolutely. And
I completely
hold on. Let me say something real quickly. Yeah, I agree with Ethan, and that's what the Triple P show kind of aims to do. I would say right now we're just talking tropics because, hey, it's the first episode. But down the line, when other weather events are going on, when we bring more guests onto the show, that's definitely something we're gonna be talking about for sure. So yeah, I just wanted to say that to Ethan real quickly. But who wanted to speak first, and I wanted to go bring up some stuff with the El Nino.
Yeah.
I'll go.
I had. Oh, go ahead, LT.
No, you go.
Okay.
All right.
Another thing to add on to Ethan's point, Pacific Meridional mode. That is also record warm. Pat, if you want to.
Oh. Hold on 1 second.
Sources of sea surface temperatures that I've been using lately, that'll show you your.
I'm sorry. What was the website? Region. What's the website, dude?
It's Arizona State sea surface temperature anomalies.
Could you send me the link to that? I want to take a look.
Yeah, I'll send that in the chat. Also,
all right, thank you.
The best thing for your sea surface temperatures for the El Nino is on Cyclonic WX.
All right.
Specifically OISST.
Yeah, that is your best friend when it comes to the sea surface temperatures in the waters. Anyways, I'll get that link to you real quick, Pat.
All right.
While he's getting the link, I just wanted to mention.
What's up? Go ahead.
I also want to mention that we should also I'm a bit nervous of what's going to happen in the Western Pacific.
Okay.
As well. It could be extremely active. I mean, we already had Sumaku. We already know what that did.
Yeah, that was a pretty strong system.
That was in April. Was it going to be in October or November?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give out a point to LC. It should be 2024 if Philippines get hit every 3 times.
Right.
Yeah. I got something I gotta bring up that just happened.
Oh, what's up?
5.1 earthquake just hit near Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I just want to bring up
Yeah.
the fact that we've seen how many earthquakes over the last few days? Like,
Like
Like
5 or
around
6 of them.
how? Like,
yeah.
because we had a couple in Venezuela, which got a lot of attention because of the amount of damage
Awful.
it caused. We had another one in Japan, I believe it was.
We
And
had
now,
like 2 or 3.
6.9.
yeah,
6.9
Venezuela
off the
had a
coast.
7.2 and 7.5.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Hey,
with
Anyway.
Japan, we had Japan we had a 6.9, and then a 5.7 and 5.8 today, both near Tokyo. And then back with the Venezuela quakes, there was also 5.6 that hit Northern California that day as well. It's just been all over the place.
Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, that 6.9 it hit in the middle of a typhoon.
Yeah. All right.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Go ahead, Weather Kingdom.
I know
Oh,
we were just
so
talking.
Weather.
we did have sorry.
All right.
You can go again.
Okay,
You're good.
Earth. Okay, we need to figure
Yeah,
out.
I'm
how
just
this is
saying. I'm
gonna
just
work.
saying. We also had another 6.5 in the Philippines today.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead,
Thank you for
Weather
letting
Kingdom.
us. Something that you guys were just bringing about is the Westpac. I do want to give you guys an alarm that the models are picking up on another major potential typhoon out in the Westpac. I have noticed the ensembles picking up on a major typhoon like Sinakia. A little bit early to tell all the details, but it does look like we are heading into another potential devastating typhoon out in the Western Pacific again. So, something that we should cover because the GFS is also not just the GFS in the longer run, but actually the invest right now that we currently have is supposed to potentially make a complete direct landfall out in the Western pack. Not just with the GFS,
This
but
is
all the
Invest
ensemble.
96W, right?
Correct. And the European, and all the models are showing a significant typhoon once again. Even the European with a major typhoon slamming into the Philippines. If I'm not mistaken, the islands that were just hit.
Let's take a quick. I want to take a brief look at this, and I want to move on to the El Nino very quickly because I know there's a lot of interest with that as well. Yeah, I'm seeing what you're talking about with the Euro, at least with the 18Z. Definitely wanting this system to hit the Philippines quickly and intensify to a pretty significant typhoon before starting to move and weaken off the. Actually, I'm not sure if it's weakening or not, but kind of stagnating as it approaches China as well. So. That's what the Europeans showing. What's the GFS going for right here? Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, there's potentially something big maybe happening in the next 10 days or so. Again, that's the GFS right there. We'll have to see how accurate that is. The Canadian's definitely backing up on a bit further to the south. The icon a little bit too early to determine. The Euro has the Euro over here. Definitely showing that signal as well. We'll have to pay attention to see how that pans out. But all right, all right. Let's go ahead and
Also,
what's up?
Sorry. We also, it seems like what could hit, yeah, I think we mentioned this, 96W going through the Philippines, and then we're kind of uncertain about 95 W if it's gonna like be extremely strong, but if the GFS is right, that could be a back to back. That could be a back to back pretty good Japan landfall, close to Japan landfall. Because we already had like 3 storms coming close to Japan.
All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. What's up?
I do want to bring up. I did check the models, and apparently, Idaho is about to have a rare summer
All right.
winter storm.
Yeah, we'll
So-
we might talk about that a little bit later. I want to move on to another thing that we were bringing up. This is the stream's already been a little chaotic so far, but all right. So we were bringing up the El Nino. I know David Schlotthauer. I know a lot of other YouTubers have been talking about this as well. I haven't necessarily talked too much about it except to give my hurricane forecast outlook. But here's what we got for our latest values. This is the Region 1 and 2 index. Definitely on the very high side of things going on. We're looking at almost positive 2.7 right now on the index. Anything that declares for an El Nino is anything above plus 5 on both sides. In regions 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This is over 5 times that in just the first in the regions 1 and 2, which is, I believe, off the coast of South America. Further out and further to the west, regions 3 and 4, about half of where we're at right here, but still a strong El Nino a signal going on right here, positive 3.45. And the reason we bring this up for you guys right here is because this is what's going to be impacting our weather. This is what's causing this impacts a lot of weather across the Atlantic. Why our hurricane season's going to be around or below average. This affects that. The reason we had a lot of active hurricane seasons was because we were in a more La Nina favored pattern for a long time. From 2017 until I believe that was a pretty big one. 2024 was a La Nina as well. So was 2025, but that didn't materialize for other issues as well. But on the converse side, what this also ends up doing is a strong El Nino really ramps up the Eastern Pacific Atlantic hurricane season, Eastern Pacific hurricane season as well. And it also impacts not just the hurricane season, but impacts the weather in terms of winter weather as well. Ethan, the East Coast in a pretty strong El Nino, more likely for strong winter storms over there, isn't it?
Yeah, historically, some of our biggest nor'easters here in the Mid-Atlantic have happened during El Nino years. I can think of the January 2016 super blizzard. We had about 3 feet of snow from that here in central Maryland. So definitely you can get those kind of events. But really, I think one thing we should definitely be talking a lot more about is the atmospheric rivers in California, because parts of the mountains out there are going to see, massive snowpack this winter. You're going to see widespread flooding. And actually, Patrick and I know someone, an IRL friend of ours from college, who is going to be working for the NWS out there. So if we can get him in any of our future episodes, it would be really cool to hear his perspective, especially as he is literally working to forecast that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd like to, we'll definitely bring him on. I know exactly who you're talking about. I actually conducted an interview with him for an upcoming documentary that I'm making, so that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, I know exactly who we're talking about. This guy's also been on the Pat's Path Predictor channel on numerous occasions too. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. Matt. He did an April Fool's thing for me, and he's also appeared on some of our live streams as well. So, yeah, I know we know exactly who we're talking about. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
That's pretty much it. But yeah, the El Nino, I think, some of the biggest impacts we're going to see are obviously winter storms, flooding, massive snowpack in California, and then on the East Coast, of course, slightly higher risk of a major nor'easter, as we saw in 2016.
Yeah. All right.
Hey Pat, can I interrupt you for a second real quick?
Oh, what's up?
There's a very extreme echo going on right now, and I don't know where it's coming from.
I couldn't hear it on my end. Yeah, I know Weather Kingdom is muted. I know there were some issues with his mic, but yeah,
I figured it out. For whatever reason, it was playing from my computer. We're all good.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Sorry about that, guys.
All right, cool. All right, so that just kind of gives you an example of why we watched the ENSO region, which is off the coast of South America, into parts of the Central Pacific as well, because that doesn't just necessarily impact the water temperatures there, it impacts our weather conditions. It impacts severe weather season. It impacts winter weather season. It impacts hurricane season, especially across the Eastern Pacific and the Atlantic as well. So it's a very important thing that we need to talk about, and a very important thing that I feel like should be emphasized more. I know David's been posting videos left, right, and center talking about that as well. Hopefully we can invite him on the show for next week, so that way we can get his perspective on things. But that's what we'll deal with that when we deal with that. But anyway, let's go ahead and is there anything else we want to cover before we get to the main meat of things?
Yeah, I do want to mention the other impacts of the El Nino because
Go for it.
because my region, it's very wet when it comes to El Nino, and I'm just gonna say this right now. For June, I averaged maybe 3 to 4 inches of rain throughout the month.
Yeah.
I've seen over a foot so far, and it is still storming. It isn't right now, but areas to my south saw like 6 inches tacked on today, and it's just nasty flooding.
All right, Earth Central, thank you very much.
Am I allowed to speak about the El Nino tornado season for next couple of years?
If you'd like to go for it, and then we're gonna move on.
Okay, so during a El Nino year, typically the Midwest, and I'm going to say quote unquote the Midwest because of 2024 as well, typically experience the most tornadoes and during the El Nino. Unlike this year, where it's so different, where you have Illinois getting over 173 tornadoes.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
Due to a La Nina to a neutral phase, but that could shift. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, with a strong El Nino, are we going to get larger outbreaks? Are we going to get deadly strong tornadoes? And are we going to get maybe some long tracks?
So you're saying that's a higher possibility?
It's a what if we do get it.
Okay, cool. All right. We're going to go all right. Thank you very much, Trevor. We're going to go ahead and move on to the main meat of this stream, and we're going to go ahead and get this party started because we have some interesting stuff to go through. So yeah, here's the situation that we got. Let me first update this. Yeah, what I have pulled up right here is on Weather Nerds. I know, Weather Nerds. Oh, I'm a nerd. Ha 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 ha. Sorry, bad joke. Anyway, so here's what we got for you guys right here. For those just joining in, the first 30 or so minutes have just been us talking about weather, getting the Triple P show up and running, and just kind of giving a feel for how this might go. But now we're gonna go ahead and dive into it a little bit more. What I have pulled up for both the callers and the call, as well as what we have for you guys, is the Google DeepMind AI run. This has been very excited recently in terms of potential tropical development. I will tell you this: it's an interesting thing to pay attention to. Definitely an interesting thing to pay attention to. Okay, it's. Okay, and before we get to that, Thomas Dellinger 2011 sent a GOAT trophy. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. But yeah, thank you very much. That's I'm sorry. I'm a little discombobulated right now. But here's what we got. The Google DeepMind is really excited with this signal off the southeastern United States. Now, this is an AI model run, and I have a little skepticism with this as well. But I remember last year, at least with the more AI runs, and especially the Google DeepMind, it had a decent track record. It accurately predicted Aaron, it predicted Melissa, it predicted a lot of tropical cyclones. It even predicted Invest 91L, Who here remembers the infamous Invest 91L? Does anyone remember that by chance?
I do.
Which one
I
was that?
do.
That was the
It was the one
6090
that
that
failed.
busted. Okay.
Oh,
It was
yeah, I remember that. Wasn't that in the near the Caribbean?
It was in the MDR. It was in the
Oh, yeah,
MDR.
the MDR Caribbean.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that was something. It had gale force winds.
Yeah.
It had a core, but I don't think it had it long enough to be classified as a tropical storm.
Yeah, it was 6.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah,
There was another area that busted last year too that every model was going crazy for. And this is actually that area you've been bringing up, which I think was designated 94L or 93L last year. This was after Chantal, which was what we thought would have been Dexter, but wasn't. It was that area
Yeah.
that went through Florida and went into the Gulf.
Mhm.
This is actually something I wanted to bring up related to the forecast too, is taking a look at where the track is and if there's a possibility that this thing could do
Yeah.
what last year did and have this system go north again and go too far north and dissipate over the Florida panhandle.
Yeah, we had Invest 91L, Invest 94L. We took a couple of L's. Wait, is my mic on? Are you guys can hear me?
Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you
can hear
and
you.
your funny, not
Yeah,
funny
we can.
jokes.
My not funny jokes.
Yeah.
Look, I know. Is my mic okay? Okay. Some people in the audience were a little concerned about that. They were saying "rest in peace, Mike" and all that. I put a new cord on this thing, guys, so we should be good to go. All right. So let's go ahead and get. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get into it then. Oh, the heck is going on? Going on. All right. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, here's what we got for you guys. The Google DeepMind is really excited about this signal. Here's where we're at. This is about 5 days out, so this is for the morning of July 1st. I want to see when this actually originates for anything. Okay, never mind. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Zoom back in. We're going to zoom out again. We're going to do this. I know, we're doing this like 6 times, but... Okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to... Boom. All right, that's better. That looks better. Cool. So this starts out about 4 days out. So this is okay. Today's Friday. So this would be Tuesday. On June 30th. You're starting to see a lot of low pressure ensemble readings picking up off the coast of the Carolinas. It's definitely an interesting thing to pay attention to right here as the system starts to potentially get its act together. Let's go ahead and go out 12 hours and move on. You're seeing more signals, not necessarily too strong just yet. 1,004s on a few areas right here, but overall not particularly the best just yet. So that's what we're looking at least early on with the returns. Then we get to 5 days out, so this will be Wednesday morning. Things are getting a little bit more consolidated. Things are getting a little bit more interesting. 993, so that definitely the power numbers are starting to pick up a little bit over here. And then after that, let's see how things go. This is going to be for Wednesday night. Yeah. 984, 999. And I do want to also emphasize that this is actually going to be originating off of a low pressure system that's actually coming through parts of the United States. It's United States. Hold on, let me pull up the chat from Alex real quickly on this. It was right before the stream started, so hold on, I'm pulling this up real quickly. Yeah, I know we're kind of a little bit scattered right here, but let's see. I will figure it out. But yeah, it's actually going to be originating off of a low pressure system. Excuse me, words. It's actually going to be emerging off a low pressure system that's going to be impacting much of the United States. It's actually going to be emerging off a front that's expected to detach and then cause all of this to start going. So I find it's kind of curious to see that. I know there have been some examples of that. I know Barrier 2019, someone brought that up in chat. That happened with that as well. But let's go ahead and move on to about 6 days out. What's up?
I do have a question.
Earth Central, go for it.
Depending on the path, depending on the path and considering the name that would be line up, just like it was in 2020, didn't Bertha also form in that region?
Trying to think.
Yeah, Bertha 2020.
Yes, I believe it did.
Okay.
It peaked at, I think, 70 miles an hour.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that strong.
I could be wrong.
That was in May, wasn't it? May 2020.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So we're saying that there's a possibility we may see Bertha form in the same manner.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, which would not be fantastic for anyone here from Florida to the Carolinas at all. And
I stand corrected. Peak is 55 miles an hour.
Okay, I was about to say that seemed a little strong. Especially. What's up?
We do have to remember. We do have to remember the silver lining here: major drought relief.
Yeah, the question is, will it be too much drought relief? That's the main question. That's the main.
So another thing that I want to mention is the ridge that's going to be kind of setting up over the east central U.S. next week.
Yeah.
Obviously, across much of the eastern U.S., especially here in the mid-Atlantic, we're going to see some extremely hot weather. Temps close to 100 degrees, overnight lows around 80. I mean, we could see heat indexes of 110, 115 for several days on end.
Yep.
And what's really interesting is around the northern edge of that ridge, you might get some like derecho or MCS type storms that eventually move out over the Atlantic off the coasts of like New Jersey through the Delmarva. So that would be very interesting to see if any of those storms, if you get like a mesoscale convective vortex, if any of those could potentially, become subtropical or tropical over the next week. Obviously, it's not, guaranteed to happen. It's just something that, might be slightly more favorable than normal given the circumstances.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely looking at that ridge, Ethan, too. Oh man, that is quite the beauty right there. That is quite
That is
the
a
beauty.
heat dome right there if I've ever seen one.
That's not just
Can
going
I add
to...
something onto that?
Go for it.
So I did some analysis earlier today on that ridge.
All right.
And that ridge is actually going to be the possibility of what allows a break in wind shear in the MDR. Plus, another thing too is that you notice how there's always been that consistent cold blob off of New York, correct?
Right.
I think that might finally be how do I put it? Kind of negated because this heat dome is supposed to be so intense that areas around me, and I'm in central New York, supposed to be 90 degrees all week. So my thought process is if it's hot enough, the waters may warm up. So the waters may warm even quicker over the Atlantic with how hot the heat dome could be.
Yeah,
I've noticed that ridges increase hurricane activity subtly.
Yeah, subtly, yes. And what I want to emphasize with that too, to your point, Logan, is it's mainly going to be in parts of the Gulf and the southwestern Atlantic that are going to see the biggest surge. That is definitely quite something, I would say. And if we do see that kind of situation take place, it would definitely accelerate the water temperature surge over there. Kind of what I was talking about in a few videos for sure too. So, yeah, that would only exacerbate the issues we are dealing with over here. And yeah, it would also potentially be a problem for our little system over here. Not in the problem in terms of a tropical development, but in a problem in the terms of, okay, this is actually going to be pretty interesting right here. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. And at least with what we're being presented right here. If that happens, yeah, those increased water temperatures are definitely going to help the system as long as the inhibiting factors don't inhibit it too much, and we'll get more into that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and go an extra 12. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Weather Nerds. Weather Nerds model services are currently exceeding load capacity. Please try again shortly. Thank you very much. I'm trying to do a weather show right here, and of course the inconvenience starts to pick up right when I'm streaming. It's guys, it's not the mic issue this time. It's Weather Nerds that's the issue. So, okay. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that joke. Okay, finally we got it back. But okay. This is 106. This is supposed to be 168 hours out. What the heck? Oh, it only goes. Okay, this is only going 100. This is only going 6 days out, so we don't have much more data than that.
It's because it's the 18Z. Go back to the 12Z. And
Yeah, I
this
am
is
on the
all we can
12Z.
go to.
Dude, I'm on the 12Z.
Oh, you are on the 12Z?
Yeah. Let's refer.
Oh.
Okay, let's go ahead and pick.
That's weird.
We're gonna shift this back, and we'll do a little.
We do have a confirmed tornado on the ground.
Oh boy.
Yeah, near Cheyenne Wells, Colorado.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. All right.
Also, we do have tracks in the chat. Alex was able to get some of them for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's from the 18Z. I'll go ahead and take a quick look at it. That's for the next 6 days. Right here. Definitely an interest. Okay, that's an interesting pivot. I want to go ahead and show this real quickly. Yeah. That is interesting. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up on Weather Nerds. This goes out to the 18Z. Okay, cool. This would shift it further up to the north, potentially impacting Georgia and the Carolinas. Okay, that's interesting. 12Z was well further to the south. Well, not necessarily. It was a lot more scattered. 18Z is more concentrated. A little weaker, but concentrated. What are you guys' thoughts?
I still say it's a little too soon to tell. I want to wait for the progression on how this plays out before I make any decisions.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I'd wait until the National Hurricane Center tags it. Honestly,
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair
but
enough.
beyond that,
Go on.
it does give me Bertha 2020 vibes, considering the name would likely be Bertha, anyways. So
Cool.
In addition, Chantal as well. That's a really good one of
Yeah,
last year.
Oh yeah, Chantal was definitely an interesting one for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we're looking at. That's what we're dealing with. Let me see. Definitely. Yeah, that's a lot more concentrated. For sure. I am definitely liking the signal. Well, I say liking in terms of it being concise, not in terms of it impacting people. It's definitely a more interesting and more concentrated signal than what I've seen previously. What was the 6Z like? A lot more widespread. 0Z, kind of mainly. You know what? I want to see how this has shifted over the last 4 runs. 0Z mainly in Georgia and Florida. 6Z all over the place. 12Z a little bit all over the place, but a little bit further to the north. 18Z more concentrated. I want to see what the 0Z is going to do tonight.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I want to see what the 0Z does because that'll give us more data for sure.
Yeah. Or it may kill it all altogether. Who knows?
Yeah.
Remind me, when does that come out again?
Yeah, the 0Z.
It'd be like midnight.
Yeah.
All right, I might be awake for that. I don't know yet.
Yeah, but
I
that'll
might
be
too.
interesting. That will be interesting. But now that we have that model taken care of, and we've looked at it, I want to see what the pros and cons are like. What is our factors that we're dealing with, and how can this exactly go off? Oh, hold on. The GFS ensembles are picking up on it too. So let's take a look at it. Okay, I'm not seeing too. Okay, that's the 6Z. What's the 12Z going for? 18Z. Oh, let me go ahead and move this back. Very, very scattered. But they are starting to pick up on it. So it's not just the Google DeepMind, it's also the GFS ensembles. Very scattered, very, very reluctant to say anything about this because of how scattered it is. But we do have something. What are you guys'
Also, Pat, I
thoughts?
got something quick to add on that real quick
Go for
before
it.
we get too far on.
Yep.
Can you go back to the one that had the track going into the Gulf real quick for me?
Which part? Which one?
I didn't know which hour it was because it's on my TV, but it had that one low that has 1,011 millibars crossing through Florida into the Gulf. So one of the previous hours you just looked
I
at
think it was
on the
the
same
6Z.
GEFS.
On the GEFS? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was on that one.
Oh, yep, I see it.
Just a second.
Let me see. Let's go
Let me
to
see if that's the one.
144. You talking about this?
No, it was a different one.
Okay. Oh, this is the 6Z. Let's see what the 12Z is going for. It's 12Z. What's the 18Z? Oh, yep. 18. Is this what you're talking about?
Well, let's see. It lags behind on your.
Yeah.
Just got to see a second. Yep, that right there.
All right.
If you can you pull up the shear from the GFS 200 to 850 millibars with that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because I want to cross-reference that location with that low pressure.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'm screen sharing in the call,
confirm.
so you can see it there.
Yeah, it's just tiny. It won't let me zoom in,
Oh,
unfortunately.
That's sad. That's the one curse word for tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, for the Triple P show, I don't know. I'm thinking about loosening those restrictions a little bit. Loosening those restrictions to allow two curse words. Yeah, those in the call and those in the audience. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Be a little more lenient with it for the Triple P show, or no?
Sure,
I'll say way more lenient. Be way more lenient and give character.
Yeah.
Indeed.
As long as we don't go too far into it, too offensive,
Yeah.
we should be fine.
The video can't get demonetized.
No, it can't get demonetized,
Exactly.
but I want to keep some sort of professionalism in here.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, YouTube already demonetized my whole channel for other reasons, which I'm currently getting fixed. So
we're all adults. We use adult language. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll debate on whether we limit the restrictions or not, especially if we have guests come on. If we have no guests on the show, then we can yeah, if we have no guests on the show, then yeah, we could loosen those up a little bit. But if we do, we'll have to talk to them first and all that. So, yeah. But yeah, we'll play it by ear, and we'll kind of see what the situation goes for. But yeah, that's what we're.
Anyways, back to it.
Yeah,
there was something I was seeing. I want to see if it lines up. Basically,
so
I'm trying to see
120 hours out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I want to see what the shear looks.
Oh. That's what it looks like 120 hours out.
Yeah. Not even just that. So it was 120. How many hours was that in the what's it called? That was what, 120 as well?
Yeah.
Can you go a little further? Right when the low was over the Gulf itself?
Let's go to
because that is what I want to line up to, not specifically Florida. I want to line it up over the Gulf itself.
Like this? Is this good?
Yeah, let's see. Hold on.
I have 126.
Yeah. I think that's the one I was talking about. There's one that was well into the Gulf.
Sure.
That's the one that's the one I really want to look at. Sorry for kind of going around in circles here, but I think this could be very important going forward. And I mean, very, very important. I mean, I don't say that often.
All right. How so?
I believe that if this lines up with the shear on the GFS with the GEFS, because it's an ensemble based off the GFS,
Mm-hmm.
then there's a signal that the shear that we're seeing in the Gulf would be mesoscale and would mean that the environment is actually pretty good for development, assuming dry air don't impede too much and it's actually mixable, as you say.
Let's take a look
That's
and
what
see
I
how
want to see.
mixable it is. Yeah, there's dry air. There is some dry air over here.
Yeah.
This is our
but
wild
how
card.
mixable
This is our wild card that we're dealing with here. Sahara
Huh.
dust in the dry air. That's our wild card.
Yeah, and at that hour, 126 hours from what I'm seeing, the low would still be likely near Florida, so it still has some moisture. And considering it'd be going west, and you got the dry air east of it, I don't know if the dry air will entrain too much currently. But yeah, I agree with you there. Wild card, but I just wanted to see if the shear lines up with that area of low pressure.
Yeah. That is curious. That is an interesting fact for sure. But yeah, we do have a moisture pocket right here, but the dry air is definitely surrounding it. If it can develop in that moisture pocket right here, then it would have a much easier time. But if it gets into the more of that dry air, I will say this isn't the worst scenario I have seen. Because there is that there's that decent moisture pocket. Yes, there is some dry air, but a lot of the worst dry air is to its north or to its south, not to its west. Like the Gulf in general, you do have a little bit, but what does this drop down to? About, I'd say, 35% or so in terms of the relative humidity. That's not the worst. That's not necessarily the worst. It's not great either, but it's definitely workable in a theoretical scenario. So, yeah, thanks for bringing that up
If
to
I
my
have to add
attention.
on to that, that dry air isn't really that bad at all, because what it is that is 300 to 700 millibars. What's going to matter most is in the lower levels, because the upper levels above it are usually areas of divergence aloft.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Is there a way
basically,
we can Is there a way we can look at
I
that?
think I think there is. Go to lower dynamics.
Lower
I think
dynamics.
I'm gonna look on Tropical Tidbits myself and see if I can find this, but I'm pretty sure there's a way to do like 850 millibars or 700 millibars, because those are the two you want more than anything.
Yeah, the vorts, height and wind. I
Let me
wonder if it's
see.
on cyclonic. Let's see. Mean sea level pressure. Region Atlantic, West Atlantic. Moisture. Oh, that's 400 to 700 relative humidity. Not what I'm looking for. But
The closest thing I did find on Tropical Tidbits is PWatt at 850 millibars with 850 millibar wind barbs.
where's that at?
That's on Tropical Tidbits in the lower
Lower
I think
dynamics.
is it precip moisture. It's right above where you click onto the relative humidity.
Main sea level pressure in PWatt.
Yeah, I believe that's the one.
Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
Yes, but it looks different. I think you have it switched over to there.
Okay.
That one.
That's precipitable. That's the precipitable water anomalies.
Yeah. That I think gives a good idea too, because that's usually a sign of moisture. And considering that's at 850 millibars. Yeah.
Okay.
Even better. That's what. Sorry. Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
There we go.
That might give you a better answer, because the lower levels at 850 millibars matter more than 300 millibars, where you want it to be drier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it definitely emphasizes a few things to me as well. Yeah, we have a good moisture infusion. If it stays in that pocket, we don't have too many issues. Shear's not the worst here either, so that's not going to be too big of an inhibiting factor. Dry air isn't either. What's the vorticity going to look like? I'm just out of my curiosity. There is a little bit of spin. There is some pretty decent spin on this. It just needs to consolidate and get its act together. But there is spin, and there is good spin, and there is good indications for this. Just needs to get its act together.
I agree with that. However, I also do want to say
Go for
I
it.
wouldn't use the vorticities just yet because it varies so much. I've seen, and for example, David Schlauhauer's videos, vorticity could change one day to another and could be
Oh yeah.
completely different.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'd
Yeah,
say like the water is in your shear is going to be your more long term
I agree.
ideas
I'm
because
just
otherwise,
cross-referencing everything. That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing here. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm just saying going off those two that I did see that I do trust long term. The
Yeah.
environment is pretty decent actually for this time of the year and for what we're seeing and the conditions that we have this year.
I think that's what the deep mind is on to. I think that's why they're onto something. They're like, hey, this might be a sleeper. Watch out. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Okay. All right, cool. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and move on to some of the other factors I want to take a look at. Here's OIS. Let's look at SST analysis option. OISAT. Let's do SST region. Western Atlantic. There. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our water temperatures. And as you can see, they are very, very warm. What are we looking at? 28 degrees Celsius at least. The Gulf Stream off the coast of Florida is seeing a couple isolated areas of 30. That's 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And same thing in the Gulf as well. Seeing quite a lot of warm water. Doesn't always apply to big explosive cyclones because there's so many other factors, but you have more energy to work with than what I would say even a couple of weeks ago. Thoughts from everybody else in the call?
Yeah, I do have something to bring up too. It's actually related to that ridge that we have going on too.
Yeah.
The waters in the Gulf are warm right now, but the question is how much warmer will they get from that ridge? Because normally when you get a ridge, your Gulf sea surface temperatures warm up drastically.
Right. Logan just left. Hopefully he rejoins in just a second. Ethan. Oh, there we go. Ethan.
Yeah.
We'll let you go first, then we'll let Ethan go because he hasn't talked in a while.
Sorry. Me? Sorry.
Go ahead, Logan.
Got a little messed up there.
Logan.
Continuing on that ridge, I'm curious on how warm those waters will get. And also that ridge will allow slower moving storms. So if it can sit over the waters and develop, then there's a really good chance. Anyway, sorry about that. I got kicked off and got thrown off.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Same thing happened with me, and I'm not sure who it is. And to whoever's doing it, please stop.
Yeah, I will. Tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So it was you? Okay.
Tomorrow. So about the ridge, I just want to say,
Go ahead, Ethan.
That heat dome is especially going to, cause the SSTs to increase probably around the East Coast. I would think definitely, from North Carolina up to New York, you're going to see sea surface temperatures rapidly increase because, as some of you guys probably remember, that region in particular had a very cold winter because we basically had this perma-trough that was set up over that region for quite a long time between like mid-January through basically late February. I know we kind of were jokingly calling it the ice age because all the way down in Florida, we had, temperatures down in like the upper 20s in places like Port St. Lucie and even further south than that. I actually remember Naples and Fort Myers even had some snow showers from that. So very prolonged period of well below average temperatures in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions. So for a long time, those SSTs have actually been below average, and we're only just now starting to get out of that. And I think this ridge that's moving in next week is going to really, rapidly push those SSTs to, average or even above average.
Yeah, that's for sure. The main question is how is this going to impact? The main question is how is this going to impact the water temperatures in the subtropics as well? Because I'm just pointing these out right here. We have a very big contrast between the northern tropics and the subtropics. We have a very tight water temperature gradient over there. My main question is, how is this going to impact areas in the southern subtropics? How is that going to warm up? Is it just going to be a coastal thing, or is it going to be impacting these regions as well? Ethan, what's your take on that?
I mean, it'll depend on how the pattern evolves, but I mean, for now, I think we're just going to see kind of a steady warming of the Gulf and the MDR, as we head into July and especially towards August. I think it's really just going to come down to, will things be able to get going in the MDR, because obviously shear is going to be higher than average this year. I mean, you can have the warmest sea surface temperatures ever, but if you can't get, waves to survive, then you're not going to get hurricanes. It's just that's just the fact of the matter.
Yeah, you need the other conditions to develop right there. So, yeah, that's
Although one thing that's interesting is if this ridge settles in for a long time and it kind of doesn't budge, which, we've kind of seen that happen a lot with El Nino patterns, where you get into one sort of like trough ridge pattern that just doesn't budge. It's just like a blocking pattern. For most of that, it's kind of been a perma trough that's just sat over the northeastern U.S. So if we get a ridge that sits, over the Gulf and then, slowly shifts east, and depending on exactly where the Bermuda High sits, that'll steadily warm up our SSTs. And even if this season is not very active, which honestly, I personally think that this season is not going to be very active, without tropical cyclones to cool down those waters, it's just going to keep getting warmer and warmer. And our anomalies could be very, very far above average come, 2027.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I would definitely be looking out for, is if this hurricane season isn't active, then those SSTs are just going to boil and boil and boil. And that's how we, a couple of years down the road, 2027, 2028, that's how you get extremely deep ocean heat content. And that's how you get another Melissa situation going on.
We had that in 2024 as well. 2023, El Nino. Next it was supposed to be a quiet season. SSTs in the Atlantic just ramped up and crushed the El Nino under its weight. Next thing you know, you had 29 storms, but 0 in the Caribbean. 0 in the Caribbean. And that OHC literally stayed untapped from Hurricane Ian back in 2022 until Beryl in 2024. And we all know how that one ended, because we had a hurricane literally barrel through the Caribbean. So that was an infamous example of that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2027 if this continues, even if, and especially if we have a quiet season. The question I have now is everything going to be supercharged and warm at that point? We'll have to see.
Hey, Pat, can I add something real quick regarding to what Ethan just said?
Yep.
So I actually think that the subtropics are going to warm because there is also another heat dome over in France and Europe that's been going on for a while. And I'm not sure if you've noticed on the sea surface temperature anomalies, but that area has gotten incredibly warm. And with high pressure, if that can slowly bring those waters southward, that can cause some warmth actually overall in the Atlantic. And I thought that was I think that's extremely important, because if that can happen, then the Atlantic has a chance of warming up more and the more of a potential to survive El Nino's effects.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, I do have some breaking news. I'm actually talking to Naz Naz does weather right now. He has his own stuff going on. Unfortunately, he will not be coming on the show tonight. It's a little disappointing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do our best to reschedule. Hopefully for the next Triple P show, which will be next week, or the one after that, we're gonna have him come on. I know, because I had everything planned up. I had everything ready to go. Unfortunately, he has some stuff going on. He's not going to be able to come on the show tonight, but the show must go on. So we're going to go ahead and continue. And to those who are wanting to have him to come on, those who saw the thumbnail and all that stuff, I'm sorry. I did plan for it though. We had stuff happening. He just had his own things happen to come up as well. We are going to reschedule it. So just wanted to make that very clear to you guys. I do apologize for that, and thank you very much for your patience, and thank you for your support for tonight. I know it was a kind of chaotic stream. Hey, the first episode's usually pretty chaotic, so we'll build off of this. But thank you guys for coming on. I do appreciate it, and the show must go on. Whoever would like to speak next, please go ahead. Hello?
Well, yeah, that does. I mean, yeah, show must go on, and hey, we can always do like a birthday stream for me because I turned 20 on Monday. So
What's up?
there's always opportunities to do other types of streams. Just random thing that you have the audience there.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll figure this out. The show must go on. We've talked about water temperatures. Do we want to move on to the ocean heat content?
Yeah, honestly, I think that would be a good direction to go.
Yeah, show must go on, guys.
Did mention that in chat.
Now, who here loves the University of Miami? I know I do, especially for their OHC maps. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at our OHC. I want to go ahead and actually want to first do an analysis on this real quickly, and then I'll let the rest of the callers talk about this and give their thoughts on it while I do a few things real quick. But what I want to talk about is the OHC. Oh, hold on. Actually, who wants to talk OHC? I got something. I'm talking to Naz right now. Who wants to talk OHC?
I can real quick if you want. I have some knowledge on that. So I'll just talk about what OHC is because I don't have that graph on my screen. So basically, what it is, it's the unit metric of how far down waters stay warm for. So, for example, you could have 29 degrees Celsius at the surface or about 84 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's good for tropical development and all. But the question is how far south or how far down into the waters it goes. And actually, you can see here, which is typical for the Caribbean, is that they have that is about upwards of 100 plus units of ocean heat content.
Mm-hmm.
So that an example alone is an example of really good conditions for the tropical cyclones, hurricanes, and such. Because what they like to do is they like to upwell water, and typically what's below that is colder water. But if you have ocean heat content, it's just going to upwell warmer water. And realistically, 50 units or higher is enough to sustain a storm for about a day or two if it stalls. So if something were to form in the Gulf or in the Caribbean at all, they can pack a punch, as it will last for at least a day over an area before causing devastating impacts somewhere else, or even weakening because of how warm those waters have gotten. Any other points you want me to cover with that, Pat?
Yeah. I'm trying to think real quickly. No, not quite. No. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Someone in chat's asking, what does the white mean? This is the area right along the coast. It basically means no data because of how shallow the water gets. For example, right along the Gulf Coast, that's the continental shelf. Water temperatures are very shallow over there, so Miami website can't really provide much data over there. So that's what that means. But with that being said, let me change something. Let me change something real quickly. There we go. I just changed that. But here's what we got right here. Before I move on to what I want to move on to, does there anyone else want to give their perspective on what we're seeing so far? Okay? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and talk about what's been happening over the last little while. So let's go ahead and go back to June 12th. I want to go ahead and take a quick look at this real quickly. Here's where we were 2 weeks ago. Here's the OHC change that we've seen. June 12th. Mainly for right here, we have mainly our OHC concentrated in the Caribbean, in the northwestern Caribbean. The loop current is more so a somewhat disorganized mess in terms of its OHC content right here, and we aren't seeing too much in this region in the Western Gulf. MDR is very low right here in this part of the Atlantic, and we're not seeing much OHC going on in the Atlantic Basin over here. What have we seen 2 weeks later? Hey, everybody. Can you play a game of Spot the Difference? Actually, let me see if I can do this real quickly. Let's open image, new tab. Do that. Go back to the 12th. Open image and new tab. Oh, this is really ugly. This is going to be very ugly. But can we spot the difference, guys?
Yeah, there's a pretty drastic difference there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Especially
Yeah,
a
we
lot
can
more
see the
greens.
OHC expanding further north.
Yeah, this is the glaring obvious difference right here. Also, the loop current is far more consolidated. The Caribbean is starting to expand a lot more. And even the OHC in the main development region is starting to move up further and further up to the north. So that's what's going on that's what's going on with our OHC. June 12th, mainly concentrated in the Caribbean. 26th, more OHC everywhere. So that's what we're looking at for you guys. Anything else you guys want to add?
I did just note that there is an area of interest in the Eastern Pacific at 050. So
Yeah, I talked a little bit about that.
Something with the
actually
loop
looking
current
pretty
too.
juicy.
What's up?
If something forms out there, where it's projected to go is right over that area of the loop current that is consolidated, which seems to be about, I want to say that's 80 to 90 units of OHC. So if something does form out there, I think that there's a really good chance something's going to form if it lines up the way it does, because with the OHC, it will be able to combat the dry air because it'll allow more convection and thus more mixing of the dry air. So I would say that this is a very eerie setup this far out, considering how the models have been projecting this system.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at for that. That's your ocean heat content. Can't really say too much, at least with the OHC, but I do want to pull up the climate reanalyzer for you guys right there, just to give you guys an idea of what we're seeing. And here is what we got right for you ladies and gentlemen right here. The climate reanalyzer It's not by a large difference. It's by a somewhat small difference, but we have officially eclipsed 2025 levels in the Atlantic at large. And the interesting fact is a lot of this warmth is more concentrated. It's not as widespread as what we saw previously. It's more concentrated in the tropics and not so much in the subtropics too. Shifting over to other areas like the main development region, we're about 2025 levels. So overall, just above the average right there, mainly because of this, mainly because of the anomalies over here. That are definitely cooler than average going on in the central MDR. The eastern MDR, interestingly, is especially around the Cape Verde Islands, is definitely heating up by a pretty considerable margin. So I wanted to bring that up. What are we looking at in the Gulf region? Yeah, it's kind of a loop-de-loop race between last year and this year for the Gulf region. We'll have to see how that pans out for sure. But for the North Atlantic, at least from 60 to and 80 in this area in the Atlantic Basin. Oh yeah, we're heating up. We're heating up pretty fast. So, gonna want to pay attention to it not just for this year but also next year as well to see what ends up happening, especially in the tropics if those remain untapped. So, that's the situation with that. Any other thoughts?
I think it's just gonna depend on like a bunch of smaller scale features instead of just like a El Nino itself, which is more long term. I think the short term impacts are going to cause more of a greater change in the possibility for the hurricane season, such as ridges, such as westerly wind bursts, or say storms in general. I should say that. And
all right, awesome. All right, cool. So is anybody else? All right, cool. Hey, all right, cool. So now that we've kind of covered our bases a little bit, to those in the audience who are still with us, thanks for being with us. I know it's been a crazy stream. Any questions you guys have in the chat for not just tropics but weather in general? What I want to do is, yes, this is the first episode. We are talking tropics tonight, but ultimately, I wanted to get some questions, and I also wanted to do some other weather stuff. Hey, Ethan, I have a quick question for you. Have you seen any bad weather takes recently? Same with Alex. Have you guys seen any bad stuff? Any bad weather takes?
I mean, in terms of bad takes, we could, dive certainly into the people who use AI generated maps or like NWS using those. We could certainly talk about that. We could talk about all the people who are claiming that, the government is controlling the weather through HARP and other things. We could talk about that too. I've seen plenty of bad takes lately.
Oh, geez. Show me some.
We could also talk about people fear-mongering and overhyping.
Yeah, we could talk about clickbaiting on YouTube and the weather community because we've seen a lot of that lately too.
If we do that, dude, one of the things I want to do on this show is one of my dreams is to have Weatherman Plus and Direct Weather. I want them to have a debate live on a Pat's Path Predictor, live on the Triple P show, just to kind of get the entertainment value up. I think that would be a very fun thing. What do you guys think?
I'm down
so
too.
too.
I want to be here for it, and
Dude,
I also want to ask him some questions too, and I'm sure Trevor does, but he's not here right now.
Yeah.
Also, we got someone asking about trade winds.
Yes, the trade winds. Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, let's talk about that real quickly. I know I used the U wind and I've used U wind and V wind for that for the most part. Yeah, here's our U wind anomalies. Okay, this is the 18Z. We'll use the 12Z because those go furthest out. What's up? Okay, cool. So yeah, this is what we got going on the next few days. Red means stronger U winds. Purple means weaker. That's the general gist of it. that's the general gist of it. In the tropics, purple indicates potentially more potentially less winds. Red indicates more. That's the typical fashion right here. I know in years past we've gotten that confused in 2024 and 2025. We've gotten that confused, but we got it pretty consistently now. So here's what we got for you guys. It becomes my goodness, look at the northern Atlantic basin in the southern subtropics right here. The U winds really ramp up in this region. How does this correlate to the wind shear? Let's take a quick look at that. 250 millibar. Yeah. Definitely seeing a little bit more wind shear over here as well. But yeah, that's what we're looking at for right there. Some stronger U winds over here in the Gulf region as well by the time we get to July 11th. For right now, from the last bit of June until for right now until about the 4th of July is when you have those purple anomalies, and then the red starts to repopulate that as well. And across the tropical Atlantic, MDR is kind of split generally. Cabo Verde Islands is in the purple. Areas to the south are more so in the red over here. So that's going to increase your winds, increase your potential shear over here as well. Caribbean, curiously, is in the purple. Same thing with the Western MDR as well. Overall, it looks to me like at least after this whole Google DeepMind southeastern U.S. business, we're not going to see too much for a little bit. What are you guys, at least in terms of the trade winds, what are your guys' thoughts?
This actually might be very good for the Atlantic.
Yeah.
However, bad long term, because if the trade winds keep up like this and they create an easterly wind burst, the waters beneath the surface in the Nino 1+2 region are about 8 degrees Celsius again.
Yeah.
So that's an anomaly, by the way.
Go ahead.
If that upwells, then that could mean that the El Nino gets stronger and all the warm waters that are already there now, which are about 5.3 degrees Celsius, at the surface of the 1+2 region in some spots will go into the Nino 3 region and Nino 3.4 region. Also, too, with that, I've noticed that what happens in the Nino 1+2 region typically affects the Atlantic in the United States more than any other region of the El Nino and Southern Oscillation.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Beans is asking, just for fun, which month do you think we'll see our first major for the Atlantic, Caribbean, Gulf, or will we? I think I would. All right. Let's make this a bit of a guessing game here in the stream. When do you guys think we'll see it, if we do at all?
See what?
I'm gonna
Our
say
first
September
major for
28th.
the Atlantic hurricane season.
I'm saying September
Labor Day
28th.
weekend.
All right.
I mean, I would say there's a chance we don't actually see a major hurricane in the Atlantic this year. I mean, not saying that would be the case, but we'll probably have at least one or two fish storms. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen until like later September or even October.
All right. Who else?
Yeah, I'm saying September 28th. Also, I don't like the idea of fish storm. Any storm impacts the land altogether. Just a little tidbit of mine. But yeah, I'm saying September 28th.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying at the earliest Labor Day weekend.
I'm leaning towards Labor Day weekend myself. Generally. For right now. Unless we see something unexpected happen. But Labor Day weekend's probably your best bet for right now. Thank you very much for that. Hi, Pat. Is there a reason why West Florida has been so dry lately? Like any rainy season it's like rainy season's never started. Who is our Florida people?
LT.
LTW.
Hello.
Have you been keeping up with? I know Alex has been keeping up with this. Have you been keeping up with all the stuff that's going on in West Florida? The rainy season's not really going on.
Let me check the drought.
Yeah.
It's actually been let up a bit. There's still extreme drought, but I don't see any exceptional drought.
All right.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that it's not here. It's definitely here. It's just not much active rainy season, but don't worry. Remember, El Ninos usually favor more
Yeah.
enhanced rainfall, maybe even enhanced severe weather throughout like the southern portions of the U.S.
Yeah. All right. But
So yeah,
all right, thank you very much. Hammy NG is here in North Carolina. There's been a huge hurricane drought. Do you think that trend will continue? Most likely, unless we have this system off the southeastern U.S. just go haywire and explode and ultimately be this massive system. Other than that, I don't think we'll see too much for you guys. At least the chances of it have definitely dropped, but we'll have to pay attention to it. Yeah, and then we have some people kind of giving their guesses on to when they'll see majors and the hurricanes and all that stuff. So that's fun stuff too. Um, that's fun stuff too. All right, so Ethan, did you find any bad weather takes that we can take a look at?
I would just start reviewing clickbait, honestly, in YouTube.
Oh my god, bro! Oh man.
I mean, hey,
Well,
don't be
in that
afraid to
case,
call some people. I mean, don't be afraid to call some people out
All right,
because we got plenty of good clickbait out there.
I know the perfect person to call. I know the perfect person to call out, right here.
Yeah.
I know the
weather.
perfect person to call
I
out.
think we all do.
oh boy, oh boy.
Let's just yes. Yes. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the perfect person to call out right here. This is yes, this is Pat being self-aware.
Doesn't that also mean I'm at fault too for giving you the ideas?
Yeah, we'll not get into that, but yeah, I'm gonna start by calling myself out here, a little bit.
The thumbnails are a little redundant, to say the least.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. But yeah, I'm gonna start off by doing that just to kind of set the table, ladies and gentlemen, because we call other people out for this stuff, but you got to call yourself out too while you're at it. So we got to be consistent, right? We got to be consistent.
It makes you feel like you're not being selfish. Oh, this guy's doing this. It's like you're saying to the audience, like, "Hey, I'm also doing this." So
yeah,
I should
I'm doing it.
Calm down.
I'm doing it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead. All right, let's pull up the next dude. Oh, who am I thinking of next? He should probably come on a show and debate some people sometime. Oh, I know who this guy is. Hey, does this guy look familiar to you? Does this guy look familiar to you?
No.
Unfortunately, yes. And
Yeah.
I got some strong
Yeah.
Okay, this is
Oh,
wild.
God.
Rare Arctic blast. This is huge. Arctic surge. Oh my god, bro. Yes.
Don't forget the summer that never came.
Oh yeah. This is the triple P. This is the triple P show. We're having fun with this. We're having fun.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Why are we doing this? Mainly because we're trying to get the weather community engaged. We're trying to get people to we're trying to get the people engaged. We're trying to get people on the show. So that's why. And yeah, let's see who's another guy. Yeah, I know this guy's been kind of under the radar. His isn't the worst, but it's definitely a little interesting to say the very least.
Mm-hmm.
This is Evan Freiberger.
I've heard of him.
And I've
man.
Really
and I've had beef with this dude since he called out David. So yeah, I've had beef with this guy ever since he did that while doing it himself. If you want to call it out, be consistent. That's all I'm gonna say. And speaking of which, it's not terrible. It's not as bad. But I'm just looking. But David and I did kind of have a spat about it on Twitter. So, yeah. But yeah, David, if you're watching this stream, like, this is just for jokes. This is just for a comedy. This is just for comedy right here. We're just having a little bit of a fun time. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, what else do we got?
Weatherman Plus, maybe.
Weatherman. Yeah, Weatherman Plus. I like it. I'm not. I mean, I think it's kind of weird because it's kind of weird to do this because because he shouted me out. He's given me a lot of love. I've talked with the guy before. It's same thing with David. It's kind of weird. His videos aren't necessarily that bad. They're not that bad, in my opinion. It's just some of the titles and the thumbnails are over the top, in my opinion. That's just my opinion on this. His stuff is fine. I have no problem with the videos themselves. It's just sometimes a little over the top, in my opinion. Because I'm in a weird position right now. So, yeah. Anyway, Weatherman Plus, if you're watching this, I extend an invite to you to come out to the Triple P show. You've helped me out a lot, for sure. You've shouted me out. You've showed my videos. You've shouted out my streams as well. I want to extend an invite to you to come on the Triple P show. Same thing with David. Same thing with Direct Weather. Same thing with every weather YouTuber that's out there. Heck, we've had weather YouTubers on here tonight. Earth Central, for example. He's a weather YouTuber. Kind of.
Yeah, right now I'm just trying to deal with life, but I'm still doing stuff on the channel.
Yeah.
But also, I do have a couple channels that have hot weather-related takes that I do want to call out, although not necessarily weather, more earthquakes.
Okay.
But Suspicious Observers and Dutch Sense.
Oh.
Those two people are the bane of the geology community because they both claim that they can predict earthquakes, which is an impossibility. So, apparently Suspicious Observer, aka Ben, apparently has a tendency of using the sun to try to predict earthquakes, and then Dutch Sense uses other quakes to predict earthquakes because apparently in his eyes, if you have a deep quake, it means you're going to have a larger, more shallower quake nearby, and stuff like that. It's just no.
Sure.
People are just I don't get it.
Well, it's not necessarily impossible to predict earthquakes. There's things like foreshocks and all of that you could definitely deduce from, and you could definitely look at history and all of that as well, and figure out when the fault last happened, the fault last shook. But
yeah, and that I'm aware.
Yeah.
I was meaning saying that say a 7.5 quake's gonna hit California tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Specific earthquake forecasts.
Yeah, that is what they do.
Okay, I was about to say happen. If it's stuff where they're looking at stuff, they looked at the history, and they're saying an earthquake might be happening in the next few days. I don't have a problem with it, but if they're doing forecasts for exact date and time, I want to see some evidence, and I want them to explain why. Yeah. And if whoever these people are, come on the Triple P show and explain it. This is a show for the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not docking on the potential of us developing the technology or discovering the warning signs to be able to predict quakes in that manner in the future. But right now, we do not have that know-how. So.
Okay, all right, Earth. You have a little bit of there's a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but that's fine. We're here to have some fun. But I will tell you this: with earthquakes, you can predict them in theory. It's just incredibly hard to, and as of right now, we can't give an exact date and time. So. That's what I'll say about that. We'll need to advance the technology. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's basically what I said too. Been saying like we just got to develop the technology, learn the warning signs, and go from there.
okay, Logan. I just saw your chat. Did you mean like between the us that's in the call right now in terms of you wanting to do that?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like,
Oh, okay,
kind of
that's
make
fine.
more of like a show. Kind of make it more about like yeah, the weather's fine too. I kind of meant like backstory and like
Yeah,
all that
dude,
stuff. You get what I'm
legit.
saying?
I wanted to do that with with Naz when he came on. I wanted to, I wanted to do that. That's the kind of style I was wanting to aim for. So yeah, I have no
Yeah.
problem with that. I have no problem with that. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So
Yeah, if they have questions for us,
yeah,
I'm sure we're all willing to answer.
yeah, for sure. All right. So Triple P, those in the Triple P show. I'll start with Ethan. How did you get into weather?
It's something I've just been interested in for a long time, honestly, since I was pretty young. I would say Hurricane Sandy was kind of a big point where I truly became interested in it. I mean, my area was really not affected like that badly in the grand scheme of things compared to like New Jersey or New York. I mean, I live in Maryland, Hagerstown, Maryland area.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I went to college with Patrick at Valparaiso University together. And, that's how we got to know each other way back in 2022. So,
Yep.
over 4 years ago. And yeah, ever since then, it's been, we've been doing this. We've had Pat's YouTube channel and Storms United. So, and we plan to continue for many, many years.
Yes, we do. Very much so. All right, who wants to go next?
Yeah, my interest in weather kind of started in grade school when I was living in Spokane, Washington. We had this one year, 4th of July, right during the fireworks show. We had this dry thunderstorm come through, and there was a lots of lightning that hit during the fireworks show. It was just beautiful. It was definitely a sight to see, and I would love to see that set up again, honestly. So I think it's like 2006, 2007 time frame. But yeah, it was a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
I wasn't that into weather. I did track Irma. Like I did see like one cone like when it was I think 160, it was about to like reach Puerto Rico, maybe 175 or 180 miles an hour at that point. And then I saw then I witnessed Ian. That was kind of that was kind of like the main one that I wouldn't say I tracked, but I witnessed. And then like after Dahlia, I fully became into weather. And yeah,
That's awesome.
2024, 2025. So it was literally just recently, basically.
That's awesome. All right, Logan, you're the last person.
All right, I guess we saved the best for last here.
Yeah.
So this actually started as an autistic obsession. I'm just gonna put it that way. I saw a radar on TV. I saw all the colors. It was very nice. Then I realized it was nicer overall. It kind of built on itself, and kind of built on a dream of mine to protect people from natural disasters, specifically hurricanes.
Yeah.
A big storm that got me into this was actually Hurricane Matthew. I was on my way to New York at the time, but this was when I was about 10. I remember seeing this Category 4 near Florida. It was curving off, and I was in Arkansas at the time on the way up. I remember seeing it. I was just fascinated, and it was like I was glued to the screen. And then eventually got stuff like Irma, and then Michael. That was a big one. Florence. I remember that in 6th grade. I joined on to someone's current events because I liked hurricanes. I just wanted to jump in on it because I didn't know how to do them at the time.
Sure.
Around 2019 or so, is when I started looking at NHC advisories constantly, and I mean constantly still to do to this day. Though now I focus more on the observational stuff like cyclonic WX. That has basically become like my child. I'll put it that way. 2020 really got me into the hurricane stuff too. Milton and Beryl did. Side note, Beryl became a hurricane on my 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And especially last year with Melissa, I've actually been doing some extensive analysis. At least I did until the NHC postseason analysis came out, which I actually disagree with NHC a little bit. But
yeah,
that's kind of my story. Kind of started out with a little bit of an autistic obsession, turned into a dream.
Nice. All right, Trevor, you're back on the air.
What's up?
Hey, we were talking about how we got into weather, all our stories.
Oh boy, my interest in weather was dated back to 2014. Date is June 16th, 2014. My state was hit by twin tornadoes.
Oh, that was the Pilger tornadoes. I know what you're talking about.
Yes. So for about, I want to say, all the way to 2023, I've watched the Weather Channel. But where I got interested into tropics goes back to Hurricane Irma in 2017.
Yeah.
That's the real jumbo of when I started to get interested in the Atlantic side. I didn't get interested into the East Pack until about 2023. And then worldwide, 25, I believe. 25, 24, I believe. And now I own a channel with tropics that's really successful.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Trevor. I'm talking to Alex for a second before I do anything. All right, yeah. Here's Alex's story right here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to read. He's given me permission to read this out. So here's his. According to my parents, it was literally a singular lightning strike that hit my house when I was like 5. My parents originally thought I would be freaked out and essentially turn into a pussy since my mom jumped in fear in front of me. But apparently that wasn't the case. From there, it was full send on, even if I didn't know what I was talking about or even doing. Before I was 10 years old, I memorized the compass in my head, not the soggy waffles BS, but I actually knew when I was facing south, southwest, east, southeast, north, etc. That gave me a great gauge on local weather down here in South Florida. Eventually, after years of doing this, I noticed a pattern. Easterly winds cause less storms, westerly winds cause more. And yeah, nowadays I'm a bit more conscious to weather and its patterns, and it turns out I was right in a sense. FYI, I thought hurricanes were like a rare thing that occurred every few years. Laughing out loud, found something I was wrong with. Finally, a lot of this has to do with my mild autism diagnosis, so weather catches my eye with an enhanced exponential way, especially when I analyzed cloud patterns and the way leaves as well as trees moved in certain wind speeds and even directions. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Alex. That's an impressive story right there. But, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Amazing story.
amazing
10 out of
story,
10.
good first start.
Deserves an
Love you.
audience round of applause. Plus, just hoorah.
Yeah, Beans
Yeah.
is saying Michael got me into hurricanes. Before that, my interest was tornadoes. Awesome, cool. But yeah, man, I gotta say, first episode of the Triple P show, definitely What did you guys think? Did you guys have fun?
Yeah,
Yes.
I like
I
It was
did.
definitely a mess, but the mess made it more fun.
Yeah, it made it more fun. We'll obviously have to We'll obviously tinker with it. Yeah, we'll obviously tinker with it as time continues to go on. But yeah, Triple P show, first one ever. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be doing this every week. We're gonna be bringing some guests on. We had tried to bring Naz on, but he had something come up, so he is not here. But hey, we're gonna get this figured out. We are gonna reschedule him to come on the show. Yeah, we'll reschedule him to come on the show either this. I think we're aiming for maybe next week where we do that. The next show I think is going to be. It's going to either be next Friday or next Sunday because my stepdad's birthday is actually going to be on next Friday on the 3rd. So I'm probably going to be wanting to chill with him, and I'll have to talk to him a little bit tomorrow, see what he wants to do and all of that. So yeah, it'll either be next Friday or next Sunday. I will decide that by tomorrow, and then I will start inviting guests from there. Because what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to invite Naz, I'm wanting to invite David Schlotthauer, I'm also wanting to invite a bunch of other YouTubers down the line as well, especially as the summer continues to go on and as more things continue to ramp up. So, yeah, Ethan and I are the main co-hosts of the Triple P show. Obviously, it's the first episode. We're going to get better from here. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So,
Yeah. Hey, Pat, can I say something real quick
Go
to you
for it.
about the idea for the schedule?
yeah.
I would say try out Sunday and see if it works better than Friday did,
Mhm.
and see how availability with everybody else works too, and give that a shot. And yeah,
Yeah, I'll reach. Yeah,
I could do
I talked to
Sunday.
Naz. I'll see if
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if he wants to do it on next Sunday, so that way we can get that scheduled. I'll also talk to David as well, see if he wants to come on then, because I think we could definitely really pull a bunch. I think we could pull a bunch of viewer not just pull a bunch of viewership as well, but also we could also just give the people the kind of a chance to get a better view of the community as well. Because you see these big channels like Ryan Hall, Reed Timmer, Max Velocity. You see the weather, you see what's going on, but they mainly stay behind their channel. You don't see them doing too many interviews. You don't see them going on to too many shows. I'm here to change that, but I also want to do it in an entertaining way where it's fun, where a lot of people are engaged, and heck, even viewers, I feel, could
Always
want
remember the goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather.
exactly. I feel like the perfect
Mhm.
blend for this was, let's say we get Ryan Hall on the show at some point. Let's say we grow this brand and bring Ryan Hall on the show. I want this to also be an opportunity where not just the or not just how many are in here, not just the six or seven of us. Yes, I'm actually
6 or 7, yeah.
yes,
Oh my
Alex. I
God.
finally made the freaking joke.
Oh.
I finally made the
I
freaking
was gonna
joke.
say
You can
something
stop
too.
harassing me with that.
Do the gesture, Pat.
You really want me to? Do you really want me to?
Do it. Do it for 15,000 subscribers.
Dude, 15
No.
dude, we're not dude, 15,000, man. I want to see if we can hit it by the end of the month, but just for these guys' entertainment. Just for these guys' entertainment right here. 6, 7.
6, 7.
Oh my God.
I just fucking embarrassed myself.
Hey,
Y'all better,
thanks for the early
y'all
birthday
better
gift,
like the
Pat.
stream. Y'all better subscribe to the channel if you are new, and y'all better support the channel in any way you can. Just for that. Just for that.
Do it for the sake of my
Exactly.
birthday too. I made him do this because it's my birthday Monday.
Yeah. Happy birthday,
Let's see if
dude.
we can get 6 or 7 more subscribers tonight.
Let's see if we can get 6 or 7 of everything right here.
A little bit of everything.
Bro, we need John on the show. We need John on the show. We need John on
Yeah,
the
and I
show.
do want to bring up something I might plan to do, assuming my availability continues for
Yeah, what's
being
up?
able to be on the show.
Yeah.
Especially once I get my vehicles ready for it, I may be driving around town, maybe door dashing, maybe storm chasing during the show. Who knows?
Oh, but we'd
So
love to do that. We'd love
yeah,
to do that.
and just a heads up, there may be a little bit of road rage episodes. Just a heads up, but don't worry, it's
Yeah.
it is mostly verbal on my end. So it'll be funny. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, but yeah. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Ethan, Ethan, quick question. What's your schedule like next Sunday? Just for my curiosity.
Next Sunday, I shouldn't have anything going on. So,
All right. So So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to Naz. I'm gonna reach out to David Schlotthauer as well. Yeah, I'm doing that right now. And I want to see if we can get him and David Schlotthauer on. I know David has work and all that stuff, so yeah, that'll be interesting for sure. So what we'll probably do is we'll probably schedule the next Triple P show for Sunday, July 5th. And we're gonna invite David. We're gonna invite Naz onto the stream, and just see how it goes. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go, is there any final thoughts from from Ethan or any of our guests on the Triple P show?
Just say have a good time, stay safe out there, stay weather aware.
All right.
Remember, 6 or 7 more likes and subscribers, guys. Also,
6 or
they're
7
saying 10 out of
6
10
or 7
stream.
likes, 6 or 7 subscribers. I don't want to say the D word. I don't want to say the D word.
you know, maybe
but
even 6 or 7 more members in Storms United. If you haven't joined Storms United
it's in the
already,
pin
I
chat.
would
It's in
highly
the pin
recommend
chat.
it.
Even better.
Yeah.
Or even my
Do
sister,
that.
Trevor's.
Just don't.
Or
Yeah, do that. I don't want to say the D word. I don't want to say the D word because I want to sound desperate. But yeah. But anyway, all right.
But okay, weird thing going on right now. We have a random severe thunderstorm warning for Boise, Idaho.
Fine.
What?
Fine.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Buzzkill.
Yeah. All right, folks. With that being said, we're going to end the first episode of the Triple P show. Thank you all for coming on. I really appreciate it, and thank you for tuning in. Without you, this wouldn't be possible, and without Ethan, we wouldn't have even been able to make this possible. And with that being said, the next Triple P show will be on Sunday, July 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, and we are going to see if we can get Naz Does Weather and David Schlotthauer on the show. We're going to do that. We're going to get this done. We're going to talk it out, and we're going to see what we can do with that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna make this a stream for the community. One of my goals with this is to get large YouTubers and even viewers on the same show, so that way we can all give our perspective, and that way everybody here not only gets the chance to talk to their maybe their idol, but also a chance to be a part of the weather community, and that's what I'm doing here tonight. Thank you all for coming on. Have a wonderful night. Pat's Path Predictor, out. See you on the next Triple P, ladies and gentlemen.